Three, two, one, go. GB, your stuff.
Claudio.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FanView. Welcome to another episode. We're here to talk about football. We know football is not on now. I mean, club football is not on now, but we're just here to talk about club football, talk about the Premier League, League One, Bundesliga, Champions League, and La Liga. Let's go around and see what we can pick up to talk about today. So there's so many topics to talk about, and I'm here with my colleagues Bola and Peli. Bola, how are you doing?
Hi everyone, I'm fine. Nice to be here once again. Sorry I missed the last episode, but yeah, we're back.
Yeah, Peli, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm good, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to dive into what the issue that's been going on this week. Everybody's talking about Arteta putting Inweri as the youngest player in the Premier League. Some people have said it's wrong. Some people have said Arteta is seeking glory to just have the pride that he played the youngest player in the Premier League. But what's your view on it?
I think my view is like, I think I don't know. When it comes to Arsenal, I just feel like people just really like to take matters that are very like people out like matters like are not important, right? Like all this sort of stuff, like they really do not make any importance. There's nothing else Arteta is going to gain by starting the boy. There's nothing he's not going to gain by starting him. He was playing a match against Brentford. He was winning 3-0. They had for the fact that it was at like for the fact that he's at that age and he could even make it to the squad, like it's a positive thing in its own right, right? Because that means he probably went through the week's training before the match day. So that means like before you can actually be in the match day squad, you'd have gone through the training with the first team squad, and then you'd have gotten one or two things, know about what is happening, what the squad like the practices that they tend to play, sort of different stuff like that. You get so for him to be able to like bring him on as a substitute is setting a new record. That's fine. I mean, records are there to be broken and then new ones to be set. So that doesn't really personally to me. I feel it's just a little bit over the top. It gave the boy his debut and then that's it about that. There's not too much to make a fuss about.
Okay, Belly. Well, I mean, we've all been 15 years old. We've all experienced going to secondary school and everything. I think most people are saying why it's dangerous to play 15 years old in the Premier League is because he's already a star. Like he has played the Premier League, and if he was taking a bus to school now, he cannot. He has to take a private car. It's there to see him as someone who has made it and why is he here in school and everything. What do you think about that?
About him taking a step.
Yeah, because like I feel like it's Arteta putting a lot of pressure on him. I feel like it's not right. Do you understand that notion on when people talk about it that way or?
Well, I really feel like you might actually be reading meaning to it. Like might not be as serious as you are making it look like. Because I'm making it look like when he enters the school now, people see him differently.
Mm-hmm.
You see him as a star. Now he might need security. I don't think it's really that deep, to be honest. Because in England over there, you might not see that as a normal thing. I don't really know.
No,
but even if like
okay, but then you just imagine you're in secondary school, you're seeing your mates that played for us now in the Premier League, and
that's different. I'm Nigerian,
and he's in London.
If I see my mates play for Kano Pillars, I will not care. Because do you understand?
Yeah, but like that's what I'm saying. But like these people will care, and you're just putting him. If rival fans should see him, they can easily bully him. Like just imagine a Chelsea fan
I
saying,
think Moyo, I think you're overthinking, right? I mean, that's why it's
Honestly,
trying to be a professional footballer in the first place, so that I can get moments like this, so that I can be in the record books, so that everybody can
exactly.
get to remember his name. His family will be so proud of him. Everybody that cares about him to be able to make your debut at that age. Come on, you can't, he's not the only person that is 14 years old and is in Arsenal's youth squad right now.
yeah,
But it's
yeah.
probably being the one to make it because it's probably the best or
Mhm.
the best to do that at this moment. So that's something that's something very positive about that. I mean, there are just so many positives that I see there like there are
Exactly.
negatives, right? I mean, if you're in a school, everybody knows you play for Arsenal Football Club already as an academy player, and then you becoming um I don't know making your
Exactly.
debut
Making
doesn't
your debut it soon be
right.
news to them.
It even makes you more popular even. And
Like, to be honest, I don't think there's anything that I was really meaning to all these things, to be honest. There's
honestly,
nothing like pressure. It's taking the right step to his future. So, honestly,
Okay. If that's what you guys think, I just feel like the pressure on him is too much because now his mates knows that he has played the Premier League. Just imagine him going to school and teachers asking him for autograph. Like, you get what I mean?
I don't think it's
But
that
then,
serious, but okay.
but then you guys have said your opinion. So let's just move to Manchester United. Belly, you've heard your captain coming out. We've heard sources coming out.
My
Okay,
captain is
he
Bruno
did say,
Fernandez.
huh?
My captain is Bruno Fernandez.
But then we've heard Maguire. Okay, let's say
Okay.
we've heard Maguire come. We've heard sources from him saying, "Put me in the sitting defense. I'll be much better. You put Ruben Dias in Manchester United defense, you struggle and everything." He's making excuses. We all know that. What do you think about the comments? And if you're Ten Hag, what is your opinion? Because I mean, Ten Hag came and Ten Hag continued to back and said, "Harry Maguire is my captain." Well, what's
To be honest, I actually saw this coming. That's why I warn people that they should not read meaning to when they made that comment about Maguire being the captain, because remember what he said, it was as long as Maguire is playing, he will be the captain.
yeah.
He didn't guarantee him that okay, he will be number one CB or anything. So I wasn't surprised when he dropped him. So like going to your question here, I feel like it wasn't Maguire that came out and said all those things. It was a close source or a source from his.
Yeah.
So I feel like Maguire by now should have come out and said something about those comments,
Yeah, but he hasn't.
but
Yeah.
he hasn't. So that's where he has done it wrong. It's okay if you are telling your opinions to a close source, telling this person how you feel, but that particular source should not come out and be leaking such news. And when he eventually does, you should go and correct it. That's the right thing to do. And the fact that he hasn't up to now is wrong by Maguire. And if
Yeah.
I'm there, I'll make sure he consistently sit down on that bench because yes, that's what he deserves. But I know Teang, that's not what Teang will do. Teang doesn't let all this when he gets to his personal decisions. So I feel like when Teang wants to play me, he will still play. But all these
Yeah.
decisions, all these excuses, it does not mean anything to me. If you feel like you can do better, you are better than what people come to the field and prove it. Whatever you're saying on the social media means nothing. That's just what I feel.
Yeah. GB,
yeah.
what do you think Manchester United has treated Maguire in the right way? Because do you feel like if he was in a better club, you'd be a better player? Yes, he might be a better player. Because I mean, City wanted him, but then he chose Manchester United, and then it's like now he's a bad player. Everybody has treated him as a bad player. What's your opinion on this? Do you think Manchester United have treated him?
I think his performances are not very liquid considering that. But I also think he has received so much backlash, especially in the previous season, right? Like I received like I just like there are too far like it's possible for someone to play very badly and he should be criticized. Like if you're not playing well, then you should not start. I feel there are no reasons why him not starting, I don't feel there's anything bad against him because he's not playing up to the standard of what he should play. But at the same time, I feel a lot of the backlash that he has been receiving has been a little bit over the top, especially during the period of last season. Like the old squad was actually not playing very well. And Maguire was actually playing very poorly, but he actually received a lot of backlash. He deserved to be criticized anyway. But at some point, I felt like, yeah, like just cut this guy some slack. And now that he's being benched, so there's no like I just feel like right now he should not actually be still be receiving any backlash. It's actually being benched, and then there is no news of him in the media or he's not out there. Personally, right, I feel he's a good player to me, left to me. But if you don't, if you like, you cannot say you're a good player like without performing the actions of what a good player should do on the pitch. And then if Varane and Martinez are actually showing a very important and cordial relationship on the pitch, then that means they should be the one because that's how it works, right? The best
Okay.
people to start. And then if Maguire is not playing up to standard right now, he should be on the bench. Simple. But at the same time, I feel from the club there is nothing too much of the criticism. But probably for the fans, it's probably a little bit over the top. But I don't know. Most fans, most fans, right? It takes how many good performances to win a fan over, especially Moyo. You just need to play well twice in a row, and Moyo is already like, ah, you're back. So, and it's not just you, it's most fans. So I feel when he starts playing well and it justifies him being the captain, then most people just forget the backlash. But it comes with it. I mean, Grealish is also facing something like that right now. So that's it. If you are English and not playing well, just have
Yeah.
to suffer some of this backlash.
Yeah. Pelly, I feel like because I don't know, I feel like I've always been the one saying since last season saying Maguire is a better player, this, that is a very good player than he's a better player than what he performed last season. And a lot of United fans have said has had the opinion that they don't want him at the club and everything. This problem I started with Ole giving him the captain armband and putting so much pressure on him. Now that he has been given the captain armband and everything, was Ten Hag right to still come and say, "Oh, okay, I back this guy to still be my captain," or should he have just changed the captain to Bruno Fernandes or Ronaldo?
I feel like they honestly do the smart thing because he knows that I, he knows that if he strips Maguire off the armband, he's going to like affect his performance. Also, him benching him too, like him benching Maguire and him taking the armband off him would just be like too bad for him. Like it's going to affect him really bad. So the idea of saying that okay, as long as Maguire is playing, he will be the captain is a very good strategy for me because that way Maguire still feels like he's the club captain.
Mhm.
But like he just needs to fight for his place rather than him feeling like I'm not good enough and they took the captain off me and it just destroys confidence entirely and also lack belief in himself. But I feel like this way we just look at it that okay, let me just push myself and aim my sports back. That's the way we see it. So I feel like he did the right thing. I feel like him taking the armband from Maguire and giving some other person, naming Bruno or Ronaldo the club captain, I've just like depleted his confidence to zero. So yeah, I think Young did the right thing.
Okay. GB, this discussion, this topic will be very good for you to answer because a lot of people have said Maguire plays well when he plays in the back three. In England, he plays well because why they play in the back three. And I think during Ole's time, when Ole was having some bad period of game and everything, he goes back to the back three and then we see the best of Maguire. When Ten Hag has come, Ten Hag has improved so many players. He has played in a way that suits the players. And then why do you think he hasn't thought of moving? Okay, let me just change the system to a back three. And do you think it would be right for him to do that to suit Maguire and the
No, I mean, if it can't do that for even Ronaldo, not to talk of Maguire, right? And it's just 7 games. It's just 7 games. I don't want you to forget that. We're just getting into the season. There
yeah?
are still so many players that are going to get better. There might still be some players that are still right now that are playing well. I might probably have some like I'll probably get injured during the course of the season and then don't get to play anymore.
Yeah.
There are so many scenarios that could play out before the end. Like there is still a World Cup to come. There are players that could get injured during the World Cup. There are players that could lose from during the World Cup. you all remember Salah before AFCON last season. Salah was like the hottest player like in world football. And then he came out from AFCON and then he went back for World Cup qualification. His team lost the game to Mane. And then Salah really took a turn for the worst. So what I'm trying to say is Ten Hag is like there is this sign of improvement, right? But at the same time, it's still early days.
Yeah.
There's so many things that can happen to that squad, right? There's still so many people that you are seeing that might be starting in game week 7, and then by game week 20 something, they're no longer in the squad. I think one very, very important scenario I remember was Stones 3 seasons ago. Stones did not play the first 5 games of the season with Man City. And then we
Yeah.
bought Ruben Diaz. And then the first partnership of Stones and Ruben Diaz clicked so well. And all of a sudden, Stones was our second choice centre back with Ruben Diaz by the side, while Laporte was on the bench. So the same Stones had not started the first 5 games. So what I'm trying to say is there is still so much time, like for things to happen, right? Like there's still so many scenarios that see you we both know that there are still so many matches that Manchester United is going to lose this season.
Yeah.
So many matches are going to win. There are some matches you are going to take a draw. So like there are still so many things that are going to happen, and it's too early to talk about changing formation. Right now, Ten Hag is still in the stage of trying to experiment with 40 years, right? Because this, I believe, is not a squad. This is not the ideal squad he wants to have. I
Yeah.
think he still wants to have a player or two or this or that in the right way. And then right from time, Ten Hag has not been a manager that has favored a three-back man system. He has always been a four-man back man system.
Yeah.
And then it's quite silly for him to, okay, fine. You cannot, now, with the availability of center backs he has at his disposal, he cannot afford to use a three-man defense. Because in
Yeah.
a three-man defense, once three center backs start, you must have at least 2 to 3 center backs on the bench. So if Lindelof, Martinez, and Varane starts, then who do you have on the bench? You have Maguire and who?
And Lindelof. Okay, Lindelof is starting.
If Lindelof, Varane, and Martinez start, you have
Okay. Okay.
Maguire and who?
Nobody.
Yes,
Nobody.
that's
Nobody.
it. So that means you cannot afford
Fazili.
it. You know. You definitely do not want to answer your team. So
Yeah.
like it's obvious that when you're using a three-man defense, right? Like you have to like spend big on your center backs. If you see Chelsea, do transfer window, summer transfer window that just went. See they
Yeah.
bought Thiago and then Fofana, and then they have Aspilicueta, they have Luis James that could play, they have Cucurella that could play center back, three-man center back, they have Koulibaly, and then you see, so because when you're supposed to like have at least 5 first choice center backs to choose 3 from, and then 2 on the bench that can come in to make an immediate impact. If you look at Tottenham, so they have Jaya, they have Longley, they have Cristian Romero, they have Davison Sanchez, they have, I think, I've forgotten the last person. I think,
Ben Davis.
yeah, they have Ben Davis. So, if you're going to the three-man system, you really have to have like you have to be spoiled for choice. But when it comes to Maguire, right, I also like relating to what Felix said. I actually think that that's very true. And then if Ten Hag comes and strips him off of his captaincy right from the start, he's actually calling trouble for a dressing room that was actually almost a dressing room that was anchored by a thread before he got there.
Yeah.
Right? So you cannot come and then you want to remove the captain and then say you want to bring in one person to a dressing room that is so fragile. Like Ragnick left that dressing room at like a terrible state, and then you changing your captaincy as the first choice is not going to be like the best thing to do. Even at Aston Villa, I think it has been one of the things that affected him this season. Because Gerrard removed Tyrone Mings as the captain and then replaced him with John McGinn. And then I don't know, I don't want to attribute that to part of their performance, but I think when you see it can actually play like a very, very pivotal role, changing your captaincy and then deciding who you really want to be the leader and all of that. So there's still so much time. Like so many players are still going to come into that squad, and so many players are still going to be. So some people will live on the basis of merit. Okay, tell me if Marshall is fit now, I'm sure he's going to start.
Mm-hmm.
And that means one person has to leave.
Yeah.
Now, exactly. So and Casemiro is not yet started, like game in, game out. So by the time that starting game in, game out, one person has to leave from the midfield. And Diego Dallo, if he has an injury or Malacia, if Luke Shaw comes back to his best, I expect him to compete with Malacia full time for the role. Like I don't expect Malacia to start all games if Luke Shaw is actually fit and firing.
Yeah.
So it's a long season for you guys. So you guys just have to like have a little bit of patience. It's going to
Okay.
just so many things like that.
Okay. Lastly on Maguire, Pelly. Before we played Liverpool at Anfield last season, where we got trashed 4-0, Maguire came and said there's a reason why the two past managers talking about Oli and Ragnick. There's a reason why they choose me every game. And then Ragnick now and then Ten Hag has come not choosing him. And then you are seeing sources leak out from him. How do you want Manchester United to um to solve this matter? And do you think Maguire's time at United is getting to a period where it ends?
To be honest, the best thing for both parties for Maguire to leave the club. That's just the best thing. That's just what I feel. I feel like he has brought in so much, I don't know. I won't say toxicity, but I would say like he has caused a lot of, havoc in the club, with his performances and all. And now he's bringing out um, leaks about this, that. So like I feel like the best thing for both Man United and Maguire is for him to leave the club. Because now that Varane and Martinez are just like playing their life, it's so hard for him to make it back to the squad. And it looks like if he doesn't make it back to the squad, it might start causing havoc in the dressing room with all these leaks that is coming out. So I feel like he should just leave the club. That's the best thing for both him and mine.
But Pelly, like at any time, I really do not trust
Varane,
to be like
because of his injury.
exactly. So like at any
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
yeah,
But
I mean,
I can boldly tell you that me, as a fan, my third choice is not even Maguire.
Yeah.
So
I prefer Lindelof to him.
yeah, you do.
I will
But we don't
pick
know what
Lindelof.
Ten Hag
Does I feel
Yeah.
I feel
I
I
feel
feel
Theo
I
would
would
prefer
prefer
Lindelof.
Lindelof because Lindelof is more of a better ball playing centre back.
Yes, he's more technical than
He's
Maguire.
more technical than Maguire. But then
Well,
like that's okay.
but to be honest, right? I something with centre back, right? Is like it's so funny. Like someone like the out of favor like some months ago, and then someone has an injury, and all of a sudden he's getting like especially like what changed my mind about it was like Stones and Diaz. The same thing that happened to Stones that came into the team happened to Laporte last season. And Stones had injury at the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden Laporte came into the team, started playing well, and then he's already first choice. And when Stones came back, he had to sit on the bench. So I mean, you guys are like there are still so many matches that like you guys are still going to play. Like so many. So many. So let's wait and see anyway.
Okay, so that's all from Maguire and everything. And Pelly, before we move into another topic, this is a player that I know that you love very well, Pogba. We've heard what's going on with his brother saying this and that. What do you think about the story? Do you think it's true, or what's your opinion on the story?
It sounds very funny, and it's just really funny to me, honestly. I can't say whether it's true or not, but I won't be surprised because that it's possible, but like it's just all funny and sad. To be honest, like nobody wants to see two brothers, being that kind of situation. So it's funny, like the story is very funny to hear, but at the same time it's sad what's happening to both of them. So yeah.
Okay. From one French player to another. But last time we spoke on this channel, I think you were here when we talked about Mbappe. And then I think you and Pelly said Mbappe has been so disgusting to watch. Was it you or was it K?
It was me.
Okay, yeah, it was
It was me and K, yeah.
Oh, okay. And then both of them said Mbappe has been so disgusting to watch. We heard reports that when he went to the French national team, he refused to take pictures with the team and everything. What's your opinion on Mbappe? What's your opinion?
Me?
Yeah.
Me or okay.
I think the French national team thing was about I think image rights, and then I think they were like I really don't talk much about it because I've not read so much about it yet. But I
Yeah,
think it's related to image rights. But at the same time, I've actually seen some clips of Mbappe being so like weird, some pitch, some like on and off the pitch attitude that is actually like, and you're like, why are you doing this? Well, I mean, there's something like that I just tell myself, like all these footballers, right? They all have their own they all have their own attitude. Like what we see every Saturday or every Sunday is not actually who he is. Do you get?
mm-hmm.
Some guys are very, very aggressive, some ones are intolerable, someone's complaining a lot. Like someone's like especially when we had about Greenwood. Personally, I never thought about like Greenwood being trying to like even if it's innocent, nobody knows until the court proves otherwise. But I
Yeah,
never imagined that Greenwood would be someone that would be found in such a situation, right? So
yeah,
like what I just try to tell myself is all these players like individually, right? They're just several products of whatever environment they grew up in. And so but I really do not know how Mbappe is until because we don't get to know who a player is until something bad happens.
yeah.
Right? Yeah. So I have not been impressed by some of the things I've been seeing, but at the same time, his football has been, is no matter how badly how bad what is the word again? How bad your behavior might be, right? If you are good at football, then you are good at football. So I mean, did you see the goal he scored yesterday? Like it's a bad play, right? So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but personally, I feel like he has been having some tantrums on the pitch, and I'm like, this is not necessary, right? So,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, from one great French player to their league, we're going to talk about PSG and how they've been doing. Pelly, how do you think PSG has been this season? And do you think the new manager has brought the unity to them?
Well, no matter, I feel like no matter the manager they have, they will always be brilliant based on their individual brilliance. They have so many good players. So you just look at the front line, it's just scary. So, but yeah, I think they look better than last season under this new manager. But I don't know. I always think PSG as a team that their players can't play for the manager. And I
Mhm.
feel like they are all just a bunch of sports players that have been overpowered and in a short period of time they will turn against anybody. That's how I see PSG players. And then with what Mbappe is doing, I don't think he's healthy for this team. And I feel like on the long run, the players will just be like they just lack that chemistry. They just lack that ability to like play for each other based on what Mbappe is doing in the team. Like he's taking it too far. Honestly. I mean, it's not even like this is just September. Like if half the season went now and the second half of the season started behaving this way, you are saying that okay, is the money is getting to his head or the role they gave him is getting to him. But it's been barely 1 month and he's already behaving this way. That's to show that this is how he has always been. And it's not like the money is getting to his head or something. It's just a situation whereby he knows he has the power now and he's just misbehaving.
Mhm.
And it's really irritating. Like it makes me sick to my stomach, honestly. So
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever is happening in PSG, whatever run they're having now, I don't think it will be or like I don't think it's continue on the long run because what's happening behind the scenes is not healthy for the club. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. GB, last time we spoke about how PSG has improved in they've improved their midfield. They
yeah,
brought Renato Sanchez, Carlos Sola, and everything.
yeah.
Every year we expect PSG to always win the league, to always win the title. This time around, do you think they can actually win the Champions League, or
I mean,
do you think, or do you think about what Pelé says? Or there will always be a bunch of individuals. They cannot be a team who can push.
I mean, if it comes to the Champions League, right? Like, I personally feel like Champions League is such a funny competition. Like, you can have just two or three people almost win you the cup. Like you just having 2 or 3 people at the top of their games can actually almost win you from like 2 people at the peak of their powers. We saw that from Real Madrid last season. I don't want to say 2 people. I think Modric was also at the peak of his powers. And Courtois, Vinicius, and then Benzema. The three of them almost single-handedly won Madrid the Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Aside the fact that Madrid actually had like very good dressing room, aside from what we're hearing from PSG. But I mean, when you have the sort of individual abilities like Pele said that Mbappe and Messi and Neymar has, you're always in the shots of getting there, right? Like
Yeah.
you're always having the chance to like a moment of brilliance can come from any of the three of them at any time, and that's enough to win the Champions League sometimes. Sometimes that's enough to win the Champions League. So when it comes to the Champions League, I feel PSG will always have a shot, no matter how terrible it is. Like they always expect themselves to get to like the later stages of the Champions League, and I personally see them going far. I don't know if they're going to win it. I really want to win it this year. Well, I don't know. Left to PSG, I feel I feel I don't know. You cannot sustain this good performances all through the entire season. But if you can actually do it when it matters, because sometimes it's about when it actually matters. Like when we actually need the goal, are you able to score? Like you don't have to be the one that is possessing from 0 to 100 or tonight in Champions League. Are you able to score when it's needed? So that's how crazy Champions League is, and PSG actually have the squad to win it, and then they have the individual abilities on top of it. So I cannot say they cannot win it because they're actually like one of the favorites. If I'm going to pick, they will probably be my top four. So, yeah.
Okay. Belly. PSG they're unbeaten in the league. They've only drawn once. They've won 7 games out of 8 games. They are 2 points ahead of Marcel. Do you think any? First of all, do you think they can win the Champions League this year? And second, do you think any upset can be made in the League One? Do you think Marcel will push them? Man, I don't know. I mean, anything's possible.
Personally, I don't think anything can happen in that League One. Let's never talk about that. Like it's not going to be a fight. But as for the Champions League, well, as GB said, he really said it all. Like no matter how bad it is, because of that individual brilliance we have, we always have a shot at winning the Champions League. But I cannot say for sure that they will win it because Madrid plays better football. They play more as a team. Same goes to City. So me personally, I see one of Madrid or City.
Sorry guys, they just scored England.
Wow. I
Wow.
love that.
Why would you say you love that?
Guy, I'm a Nigerian man. I'm not English. Before me, last they give it to UK. About
Okay, so we're going to talk about okay, before we move from PSG, if you put Pep in PSG's team, do you think he can win the Champions League with it? Because I mean he has better players there.
I don't think
Man City first.
can Pep actually coach Mbappe, Messi, Neymar at once, and then there's no pressing, and that's like at once. He can probably afford to have one exceptional player in the team. I think that's like the highest Pep can actually accommodate. Not having Neymar, Messi. I think if Pep has Mbappe, that would be like perfect because you can actually build in some things into Mbappe's game. But Messi and Neymar, I don't know.
Wait, oh, Pep
Right?
never coached Neymar, yeah?
No, he didn't.
No.
Oh, okay.
He only coached Messi. And at that point where he coached Messi, right? Like at that point, literally, even though Messi did not really do a lot of off the ball pressing, but he still tried because he was still like probably 20, what's 23, 24. Now Messi's like 34, 35. So there is not so much again. But at that point, I was also coaching Messi. Like Messi could actually turn up at like he was actually at the peak of his powers, scoring 50 goals scoring 70 goals in the calendar year. Like, what do you want such a player to do again? But now, I doubt it, man. I really doubt. In fact, I doubt Pep going to PSG.
Yeah. But then when it comes to Mbappe, don't you think is because he has not had a top elite coach who has won more than him. Because I feel like most coaches who have coached him are always all these lesser coaches and everything. What if he has a Pep or he has a Mourinho? He will be able to do better. I don't know. I'm just saying Mourinho because of his pedigree. Or like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
right. If you left to me, right, I feel as good as Mbappe is, there's still so many things they can improve in this game. Like it's child, I think it's just 23 or 24. So there are still so many things they can improve. But personally, right, I don't know. I don't know. I feel being at PSG, anyway, I just feel like being at PSG is just PSG's boy. And if he actually goes to Madrid and then he has to face Florentino Perez, at some point, his head will probably come back to his senses because Perez do not care. You cannot be bigger than Real Madrid. That's the deal at Real Madrid. The club is bigger than you are.
Okay. GB here. Okay, not. Pelly. So now we're moving to Bundesliga, talking about Bayern Munich. I mean, Bayern Munich are fifth on the table. Union Berlin is first. What has gone wrong for Bayern in their league? Because they're doing well in the Champions League, but why do you think they're not doing so well in Bundesliga?
I say that doing well in Champions League because they already played Victoria Prison, and like I said in the former meeting we had, their match against Barca was also convincing to me. To me, Barca was better side, so
Yeah.
I can just say maybe they've kind of, I won't say lucky, but yeah, they're lucky in the chaps. But as for the Bundesliga, I don't know honestly because I haven't said it the moment they appointed Nagelsmann or whatever his name is.
That was one.
I don't, I'm not a fan of his work. I don't think you would. I honestly, personally, I didn't think he was going to succeed in Bayern rather. I don't know. I don't see him succeeding in Bayern. So, what's happening with them right now? I'm not surprised. I'm honestly not surprised because I don't know. I just feel like the guy is clueless. To me, I don't rate him. So whatever is happening in Bayern now, I feel like it's just down to your coach because why will you be playing Sabitzer Kimmich in the midfield? What do you expect to happen? I feel like
Oh, wait, when you say Nagelsmann is clueless and everything, but then he did well in Leipzig. I mean, he was always pushing Dortmund and Bayern to their limit. I think sometimes he finished second above Dortmund from Leipzig. So
no.
why do you think?
All the times that Leipzig were pushing Bayern and Dortmund, I don't think that was Nagelsmann. I think that was Ragnick. During the time Leipzig finished second, I think that was Ragnick. Yeah.
Last season, the season before this guy came, the season before Nagelsmann came, he finished second.
Really?
Yeah. So let me check. What year did you Leipzig?
Was in music for 2 years now.
Yeah, 2020 slash. They finished.
They finished second, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they finished second.
Okay, wow, I didn't know that.
So, but Bayern will just go for him. He wasn't that good. I mean, I rate
Well,
him, so it's very surprising when you say you don't rate Nagelsmann.
I don't like he's a good coach, but I don't feel like he's the kind of coach that should be coaching by. I feel like he should be for all those losing them, all those meetable club
But
or
you know the first thing here, when before we signed Ten Hag, when we were looking for managers, I was like, if not Ten Hag, I would accept him. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's very,
no,
very surprising. but then,
no.
but then Dortmund have been doing well. They finished. They are second now at the moment. They've drawn. No, they've not drawn. They've only lost twice. What do you think about Dortmund? Do you think this year, seeing Bayern Munich struggling, they can actually push and win the league title this year finally?
I don't know that. I still think Bayern will win.
Mm-hmm.
Like but if maybe Dortmund can put up a fight, yes, that's possible.
Okay. What about the Champions League? Do you think they can win it without Lewandowski for the first time?
Nope. I don't consider them as Champions League. I don't think so. Maybe they'll make it to the quarterfinals, but I think that will be our stop.
Oh, okay. So we're going to move to Serie A. I'm trying to get GB. GB is trying to come back, but then why he's gone, we just continue, carry on. Before we go into the next league, we're going to talk about when people say Premier League is the best league in the world. People say, oh, the reason why it's the best league in the world because we have 5 teams competing. We have Man City, United, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, and Chelsea. We have them competing. But then people don't say the same thing about Serie A because we have Napoli, Milan, AC Milan, Inter Milan, Atlanta competing for the league too. Do you think it's a better league than La Liga? The Serie A?
Serie A?
Yeah.
Yes, I've always rated Serie A, but I feel like Serie A is more competitive than La Liga.
You feel Serie A is more competitive, but do you think it's a better league in general?
Better league in one sense, football.
Yeah, football-wise.
I think La Liga plays better football.
Yeah, but you just think, okay,
Yeah, it's more competitive.
But then La Liga plays better football than England, but we all say like Premier League is better. When we say a league is better than which league, do you think they mean which one is more competitive, or do you
competitive,
think
yeah. I think they mean which is more competitive.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about La Liga, talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona. And Real Madrid have been without Benzema, but then they still find a way of always winning. First question I'm going to ask, do you think GB is joining us in any moment? First question I'm going to ask, do you think Ancelotti is really underrated?
I think so, because it was not up until he won Champions League and now went through his CV and I'm like, oh my god, this guy is actually a very good coach.
Yeah.
I mean, he broke a record, most final wins or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I feel like maybe obviously he can't be called the best. But what you're calling greatest coaches in football history, I feel like his name should come up too.
Yeah.
And when we are discussing greatest coaches in football history, his name never came up. So yeah, I would say he's underrated.
Okay. GB, when you were not here, we're talking about how we feel Serie A is a better league than La Liga. Do you agree? Huh?
I don't agree.
Okay, why? Because when we talk about the Premier League, we say Premier League is the best league, and then we have how many teams competing for the league? We have about 6 teams. But then that's almost the same with Serie A. So how come we don't say that for Serie A, but then we all say
I would probably say like Premier League, like to me, right? I say Premier League is toughest to win, and then La Liga is like the best to me in terms of the gameplay, in terms of how teams like want to play with the ball, the technicality of the league, so many things. You know, we probably don't put so much eyes to La Liga, fine, because of how much how much we've grown up playing Premier League football, and then Premier League keeps getting stronger year after year, broadcasting rights, everything you can say to like, and then Premier League teams are actually now performing well in Europe. But you just look at it about 3 to 4 seasons ago when Juventus were winning the league about 6 to 7 years in a row. I don't think anyone ever said there are 6 to 7 teams competing. And so it's like that, because after Conte won it 3 times in a row, and then Allegri came, he won it like 3 times in a row, and then Sarri won it once. Now it's 7. And then I feel because Juve is not playing well, other teams not have the chance to compete. But the moment Juve comes back, I feel it's just going to be Juventus against the rest of the 19. Honestly, like that's what I think. But when it comes to La Liga, right, I feel the reason why Barcelona and Madrid sort of are always on top is because honestly, I really do not see any league top 5 leagues where Barcelona and Madrid on a very good day will not be fighting for the league every year, like in any of the top 5 leagues,
Yeah.
because they're like the two biggest clubs. I don't know. No matter how much a player has played for Chelsea or for Manchester United or for Bayern, even they will still tell you one of my dreams might still be to play for Madrid or Barca. Why? Because those clubs are so gigantic in terms of history, in terms of trophies, in terms of structure, in terms of pedigree, and it's so hard for them not to be the ones to like fight for the league season in, season out. And then Simeone with Atletico Madrid has actually tried like 1 or 2 seasons.
Mhm.
He does it when either of the two teams are actually off. Do you get? So left
But
to
but
me, right?
but Jimmy, I feel like Syria's third, fourth, or even fifth team can compete for La Liga's third place.
Um, Against Atletico Madrid, yeah, maybe, but I feel like we are sort of like undermine Atletico Madrid. Like I don't like at the point they were like in two Champions League finals with just 1 year separating them. Like they lost both to Real Madrid. I
Yeah,
think so, right? Like they lost one to
yeah,
Ronaldo and then they didn't get to this and then they lost another one to Ronaldo.
yeah.
Like I feel La Liga actually and Sevilla. There was a time Sevilla won Europa League like 3 times in a row, and then Villarreal faced Man United, still won the Europa League again ahead of Manchester United. Even though I feel that doesn't really matter, right? But
Yeah.
La Liga actually like very strong when it gets to meet with other teams. But the quality has been reduced. Like to be honest, to be really honest, the quality of La Liga in the past 2 years to 3 years has actually been on a decline. Yeah, that's actually because La Liga at the peak of let's say that 2010 to 2015, they were La Liga was like almost at the top of everything. Come to Europa League, come to Champions League, come
Yeah.
to La Liga. I think it was of recent that Premier League started having 5 clubs getting into Champions League group
Four clubs,
stages.
yeah. Four
Yeah,
clubs.
because before it used to be La Liga.
Yeah.
First, second, third. Sevilla will not carry. Then the fourth will be in Champions League, and then Sevilla will go ahead to win the Europa League, and then there will be five
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Champions. There was a time like it was La Liga that approach as well.
Mhm.
I can actually agree with you. Like now, looking at it now, Syria might actually be stronger in terms of competition, and then but I mean generally, right from time, I feel La Liga is actually still better.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
true.
Yeah.
with that being said, let's just move to La Liga. We're talking about Real Madrid, and then I asked the question, and then Pelé said he feels Ancelotti is underrated. He's,
Yeah.
he's really underrated. I mean, I feel that way. But then let's move to this season. They are top of La Liga. They've not lost and they've not drawn. I think so. Yeah, they've not lost, they've not drawn, and they've been without the star player, Benzema. How impressed have you been with them?
Honestly, I don't know. Is there, I'm always impressed with Real Madrid. Like Real Madrid is such a crazy club. I'm more of a Barca guy, but Real Madrid is so addicted to winning. Like I don't like. Do you get to be impressed with something like that? Like it's almost like they're always there every season. When Ronaldo left and we're like, oh, Ronaldo has left, and then what's going to happen? And then I don't know. It's just it feels like Benzema is like okay, fine. I want to be the new guy. Do you get? Even when Zidane came and we're like, okay, who's this? Does Zidane actually have this? And then they won it 3 times in a row. Like how do you win Champions League 3 times in a row? When Manchester City is begging to win one, you are winning 3 times in a row. You are winning like 4 Champions League in like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Like it's so annoying and irritating. I don't know. So I can't say I'm impressed because I don't like them. But honestly, like they are so good, like too good. And the way Ancelotti plays Real Madrid, he actually like gives them this freedom. I think it's very similar to the way Zidane actually took up Real Madrid because I think before Zidane became the coach, he once worked with Ancelotti as an assistant coach when Ancelotti won La Decima. I think if you remember, the 10th one, yeah, I think Zidane was his assistant
Yeah,
coach at that point.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
I think he
true.
and Zidane has this sort of philosophy of you know what, let's make sure that the room is good, the players are happy, and then we have the tactics set for you. But in that tactics, we want you to like express yourself. If you have Vinicius, we want you to like play to your full strength. If you're Rodrigo, the way Vinicius plays, right? Like it's like Vinicius plays at like is himself. Like he doesn't have to like
Yeah,
tactically
he's
like
very free.
yeah, exactly. And even this season now, if you are watching Bavadi has been like that now this season.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Federico Bavadi. Now Bavadi will carry the ball from the defense and then come up all through the midfield and then release the ball. I think
yeah,
what Ancelotti does is he makes sure that there is this very, very, very good atmosphere in the club. And then I can also say that Ancelotti is not tactically sound because you cannot be that good and you are not good tactically.
practically.
But what he actually favors in this game is let us have a very good squad. Like everybody's happy, even if everybody's not happy, but everybody like we keep everything under control. Let me have my first team. Let these guys know that are going to be the ones to start week in week out, and then let these guys express themselves. So it makes it really hard for you to like hold them down, right? Last season, Manchester City when we played against them, home and away, we played them like we actually like possession wise and then everything. But there are just this moment of brilliance that Madrid are like, wow, like what's happening? If you remember Modric cross for Rodrigo goal against Chelsea, the cross with outside of the spot. Like
Yeah,
if you remember, it's just like out of nowhere. Chelsea were already beating them 3-0. Like it was already getting to like a draw, and then Modric
just
go. Where did this come from?
Mhm.
Rodrigo against Manchester City, 2 goals, bam bam. Where did this come from? Vinicius. So like I honestly can't say how much I'm impressed with them, but like they're so good, too good, too good. I don't know.
Okay. So we've talked about how Real Madrid are so good. Belly, what about Barcelona? How impressed have you been with Xavi at Barcelona? Because I mean, they've only drawn one game, and that was their first game. And then, like a lot of people have said, Xavi has been given the platform to be successful. Look at how much they spent and everything. So,
yeah.
what do you think about Xavi? Do you think it's just the players showing their class, or have you seen any tactical changes in Barcelona style of play?
Mm, tactical change. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know about that.
Mhm.
But I know there has been a difference since it came in players' attitude, like attitude wise, they have more belief and everything. Um, their players, I don't know, like now the Dembele is playing like we are basically seeing the old Dembele now. He's playing like his best football in years. Um, so I don't know. I really can't say honestly when it comes to Xavi and what he's doing in Barca. I know they are doing well.
Yeah.
They are doing better, but I don't know. I just feel like he's trying to bring the old DNA back to Barca, and I think he's paying off.
Yeah.
I think he's working for them. So yeah, that's what I feel.
Okay, GB, quickly, doctors, have you seen any tactical changes from what Xavi has done to what Ronald Koeman was doing?
I mean, it's obvious, right? Like Ronald Koeman period was so terrible to me personally because
But
aside
then
the fact
did he provide you with the players that you wanted?
I feel like personally in some aspects they actually did provide that he wanted. But come on, you two, I feel sometimes you look at it, some sort of players he was actually asking for. I mean, this guy was asking for Wijnaldum at some point. Like Wijnaldum, like bro, why? Like this guy actually brought in Luke De Jong. Like why, bro?
Mhm.
But actually, we cannot remove the fact that he was actually the one that brought out Ronald, Raul, and
Yeah.
then one thing about the manager at the club is some guys are actually going to benefit, and some guys are not going to benefit. Under Solskjaer with Manchester United, I think Rashford was one of the best that benefited from under his
Yeah.
and Greenwood. I think he actually brought Greenwood to like the
Mhm.
limelight today. So there are going to be some players that will benefit and some that won't benefit. And I think one player that is actually benefiting from Xavi's managerial regime right now, like Pele said, is Dembele, right? So like Dembele has actually really changed. I feel what Xavi has done since he has come first is to make sure, like he said, the disciplinary issues, the attitude, the vibe that when Xavi. Okay, one thing I actually also believe is when you have like you said about Mbappe earlier, when you have a manager that actually has very high level pedigree in the game, like you want to listen. So Xavi cannot tell you as a player that I want to do like this, and you want to ask him, what have you done, or what do you have the right to tell me? If Xavi opens the books of the history that he has, the trophies that he has with back, I'm pretty sure he'll be like, okay. So I think stuff like that actually help you to command the dressing room faster. Especially if you remember Zidane too with Real Madrid. Whenever Zidane used like always had the dressing room under his control, players want to listen, players are inside with Zidane. Very similar to what's happening with Xavi right now. Busquets, Jordi Alba, Piqué, you see them taking pay cuts so that they can allow new guys to come in. Do you get? So I mean, the fact that Xavi as a old legend of the club is actually in Barca right now is actually helping. And then tactically, I mean, if you look at Barca this season, starting from last season, Xavi's plan was to make sure that he wants to bring back these two wide wingers that are hugging the touchlines. Last season, it was not opportune to do that fully because last season he was having Dembele and them. I think Adama Traore at some point and later Ferran Torres. So he was able to do that to some extent, and then Aubameyang at at the striking role, and then the Pedri, Busquets, and then the third man either Gavi or De Jong right in the middle. So I think Xavi is also trying to bring back DNA, but this time he's trying to add like a little bit of directness to it. It's not all about passing. Sometimes you want it to be faster, sometimes you want to speed it up. Do you get? And then this season, right, so far, they've been using a system like they have Kunde as right back, and then Arao and then Christensen, and then they have this Balde guy, this guy youth player at left back, or they have Marcos Alonso, like I saw of recent at left back, or Jordi Alba at left back. So like last season, I cannot really talk about last season, but last season was so much a different scenario. Yeah, Dani Alves. Dani Alves was actually good for Barca last season. And so this season is a little bit different. If you see transfers he has brought in, having Frank Kesse to help him, show bolster up the midfield when he actually needs to occupy. We want to like for Barca to for Xavi to have Frank Kesse, you should know like he does not want it to only be about this Barca tiki-taka thing. It wants to be like when you're actually playing against some teams that want to run at you, and then you have to be defending, you have to respond to the midfield. You can call on Frank Kesse and the likes to hold up the midfield for him. And then I feel Xavi is the kind of manager that is very, very flexible, right? Like he wants to do several things. And then he has been lucky with the transfers, right? Because Aubameyang came in last season and really, really helped him. And now Dembele is back to his best. Dembele is like a new signing now. It's like we're seeing a new Dembele. There are so many things that are going on behind the scenes that we don't know. But I feel the medical team has really improved. Less of Baka and just less injuries. Everybody having injuries stupidly. Now it's a little bit better. And then Lewandowski is the one like Baka by Lewandowski is a guarantee of goals. Lewandowski is Lewandowski. I don't care if he's scoring the Bundesliga or he's going to score goals. Like it's obvious. He's that kind of a striker. And so if you have Rafinha, you have Dembele, you have Party, which is a very, very good player, but is actually being managed on the bench. You have Torres on the bench. You have Depay on the bench. You have De Jong on the bench. You have just the caliber. You have Piqué. You have Alonso. You have Hector Bellerin on the bench. So I mean, it's so hard for them not to be like a winning culture. So Barca supported him, and at the same time, Xavi is also repaying the favor or the trust that has been given to him. I think he should make it between Barca and Real this season.
Okay. Pelly. So we've talked about Barcelona, we've talked about Real Madrid. So we're going to talk about Atletico Madrid. When I watched the Real Madrid game against the Real Madrid Atletico Madrid game, I was so angry that this was the team that actually removed Manchester United because that team is really rubbish. What do you think? Do you think it's time for Diego Simeone to go, or
I think he place to live. Like honestly, to me, I've been thinking about it when I was there. I'm like, are these guys not just tired of this same ideology of playing sitting at the back, and you know, like it's just a very like like you have to move on. You cannot play. So do you just play for the next 15 years? You will not relegate. You cannot continue the way they are going. Like so, then when I watch them, I just get it. I just change my life. So they're not ready to move on with their lives. It's really sad to watch, honestly.
I feel like what makes it disappointing is because you see a talented player like Joao Felix who has devoted his life to Atletico Madrid. I mean, he signed 7 years contract. It's
Yeah.
like he must be regretting now knowing that shit. So this,
I,
yeah,
they look like a club that don't have vision. Because if they have vision, they will not be letting Simeone continue. Like I feel like they will have sacked him. Because if he's not ready to like improve or change it or spice things up, then I feel like he should be going. Because now they just look clueless, honestly. I
yeah.
feel like Simeone is clueless.
But the other first thing, when you say, "Oh, Atletico Madrid needs to get away, needs to make Simeone go," now sometimes that I think about it. But then there was a time that was a period that was like, "This people need to go," and then he won La Liga again. So I feel like that's what is there. That's what is keeping him because you know, oh, he could win the title again. You get
Not this season, though.
no, not this season, but like
Yeah, I guess
just the next 2 years. The next 2 years, Atletico Madrid can come again and just win the title.
Not this Atletico that I'm watching. Not this one.
Okay, so before we go, we didn't even have a chance to talk about who do you think is winning Bundesliga at first before we move to who do you think?
Why are you asking that now?
I told you now that even if Bayern are shaky, nobody can take it from Bayern. Like,
There's going to be a time next January where Bayern will just win like 20 games in a row and then they just win the remaining 5 to 6 games. I mean, that's it.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, so La Liga, who do you think is winning it? Not
Madrid,
who you support, but like who you think is winning it. Pelly.
Madrid is winning it. Well, I won't back out to Madrid winning it.
GB.
I actually want back out to win, but I don't know. I still don't know. Madrid are so good right now. So I still feel like Madrid is still the right to me. Like at this point, it's so far. But I mean, it's too close. To be honest, they are still actually very close in the league. So yeah, there are so many things that can still happen. But I feel one thing that Barca has as an edge is their squad depth. Like Barca really has like a very very strong squad depth.
Yeah.
But if Madrid first team is fit and fiery, they're going to win that league.
Okay. So let's move to Serie A before we call it a wrap. I mean, there are 6 teams going for it. So we're just going to talk about Serie A. At the moment, Napoli is topping the group. Sorry, I say the group. Napoli is topping the league. Everybody has been so impressed with that are left. Is it left winger?
Oh yeah, I cannot pronounce his name because
I can't pronounce his name. Well, GB, how impressed have Napoli been this season?
I mean, Napoli. I don't know. I can't. Napoli is just so annoying, right? Because every
exactly.
season, they're always around there. You are like, could this be the season for them to win the league? And then it's like they just decide to fuck off at some point. There was like the season where Pello was the coach of Juventus. Napoli was supposed to win the last game of the season against Verona, so that Juventus will not get to enter the top 4. I think if you remember, so that we're like battle will not be like, oh, Verona will not get to go to Champions. Yeah. And then Napoli just messed up and allowed Juventus to win. Like the June 1-1 against Verona, Juventus won 3-0. Ronaldo did not start.
I mean, they could have saved off the embarrassment of taking Ronaldo to Europa League. At least we'll say we're not the first team.
So, like, as good as Napoli always look like, honestly, right? I really do not trust them to go that low or that far. Inter Milan has been struggling, so sort of. AC Milan has still been on strong ways. I think Atalanta has actually been performing very, very good.
Yeah, Atlanta and Napoli are on the same point at the moment. Yes. They've not lost.
Yeah, Atalanta has actually played very, very. Napoli has actually played very, very good, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I do not say either of the two actually like holding strong to the position. Juventus, we've not gotten there, so let's just.
Yeah, Pelly, before we move to Juventus, how I mean, we saw the video from Stormzy, Iman Morio, telling us to shush. But then, how impressed have you been with how has Roma been this season?
Roma.
And yeah, Morio with Roma. And what do you think that target will be this season? Is it Europa or is it top four? Syria?
I think we're going to focus more on Europa, or even focusing on boots, but mostly Europa. Yeah, I think they're looking solid this season. From the few games that I watched, they look quite solid. The battle is looking, you know, I don't know, he's playing okay, sure. They're playing good football. That's what I feel.
Okay, before we move, we are good. So Pelly, you are going to talk about the two Milan teams, AC Milan and Inter Milan, and tell us why you feel like they've been struggling this season. And GB, you talk about Juventus. How can they get back to the top and why are they struggling at the moment? So, Pelly starts. What do you think about AC Milan and Inter Milan?
Oh, I don't know why this Milan are struggling,
Okay.
but I feel like they're not really showing that okay, yes, they are a top team. Yeah, I know last season they won the league, but like they only did it once in how many years? Like they're not showing it back to back. So I'm not really surprised that okay, now they are kind of
Struggle.
shaky.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as for Inter Milan, how they are playing today is quite surprising. I don't really know what the cause is, to be honest. I can't really pinpoint what's making them
Do you think
underperform.
Lukaku has been a factor too? He hasn't performed well.
Lukaku has been
Uh,
injured.
from what I've seen,
Okay, yeah, he's been
I
injured,
don't
yeah.
be playing
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I know you're not playing, so I can't even say that yes is a factor. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really watch Chirac games like that, so I can't really say that okay, yes, this is the reason why they are not performing or you get.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, GB. So what about Juventus?
Okay, let me just quickly talk about Milan, right?
Okay, talk about me, yeah.
Yeah. So one thing about Milan so far this season is the fact that um, some like a very important guy last season, Rafael Leao, has sort of started the season slowly this season, right? So he has actually not been like on the form that he ended last season with. And so it has really affected some of their games so far. I think they lost their last game to Napoli 2-1. Before that, they won against Sampdoria 2-1, and then they drew to they beat Inter Milan 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
And they are still 3 points behind Napoli and Atalanta after 7 games. So they are still actually, to be honest, they are still actually in a very, very good position. 3 points is still tiny after just 7 games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, so personally, I feel AC Milan has actually still been okay, good to me, at least. But Inter Milan has actually showed like Felix said, they've actually like showed less than I expected. They ended the season very strongly last season. They lost the league to AC Milan on the final day of the season. That was when they lost the league. The league was open until the last game of the season, which the both of them won. But AC Milan had to win because they had more points. I think 3 points. But Inter Milan this season, so far they've played so many top teams in the league. And funny thing is, their next match is against Roma, even. So they lost to Udinese 3-1 the last match. And I think Udinese is like third right now on the table. I think Udinese is
Yeah.
about 2 points. And before
Yeah, I
that,
thought. Yeah.
yeah. So they lost to AC Milan 3-2. They've lost to Lazio 3-1. So like those are like very, very strong matches that Inter Milan are supposed to like win, but so far they've been like not performing well in them. But still, they are still able to win matches against this bottom side guys in the league, and they're about 5 points behind. Is that right? I don't know if it's about five. So it's after 7 games, right? So it's still the league is still very much open and wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, the league is still very wide open. I feel if Lukaku can come back to his firing best, and then Martinez and Lukaku get that partnership that they used to have,
Yeah.
then I think Inter should actually still compete for the title. When it comes to Juventus,
Wait, before you go to Juventus, do you think it was a mistake getting Lukaku back?
I don't think so because they actually lost Lukaku not because they didn't want him anymore, but because of the money. They were in a very, very bad financial situation, and Chelsea were ready to pay like some bonkers amount of money for Lukaku, and then they felt no, we can't reject to have this guy go. So,
Okay.
but now they got him at free, like it's free. I don't even think they paid 100% of the salary. So
Okay.
yeah. Then for Juventus, right? See, something is wrong with Juventus. Like I feel everybody in that club is actually very crazy. Why? Why do I feel so? So we had Conte.
Yeah.
We had 3 wins, 3 league wins in a row. Then you brought in Massimo Allegri that has already won the league with AC Milan before.
Yeah.
Is a league winning coach. He came
Mhm.
in, he had 3 wins in a row. He got to the Champions League final twice. If I'm right. He
Yeah.
lost one to Real Madrid. He lost one to Barcelona.
Barcelona,
Yeah, good. Now Allegri left
yeah. Mm-hmm.
because I don't think he was sacked. He left.
Yeah,
And
left.
they're like, okay, fine. We are seeing the top clubs in Europe. They are trying to change their playing style. Other clubs are trying to play more possessive football. They're trying to leave this sort of get to win any way. What can we do? Which manager do we see that we can actually like work with this initiative, try to like bring about playing better, all of that tactically. Allegri is very good tactically. I mean, like more possessive based football. And I think it's fine. We have a club legend. We have someone that we think is performing well with our youth team. We went to carry up. Sorry, we went to carry up. Sorry, not youth team. We want to play something like that. We went to carry Sari, right? After
Yeah.
Allegri, Sari,
Yeah.
Sari before Pelo. Okay, fine. So I feel Sari is a very possession-based coach, as we all know.
Yeah.
He's kind of coach that everybody wants to play well, all of that. But Sari won the league for you, but lost, won the league by it beat the second place, which was Inter, with 3 points. But 3 points because Sari won the league earlier, and then started losing towards the end of the season, and then both started covering the points, but it was 3 points at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And you sacked Sari. You feel it's actually playing the possessive style you want, but the fans are saying it's boring, we're not winning well, we're not having as much fun as we used to do. So no, we don't want that. So okay, fine. What now we've started we want someone that can actually understand the club's DNA, we want someone that understands what it means to play for Juventus. We
Mm-hmm.
want a legend at the end, we want our own Zinedine Zidane, we want our own Pep Guardiola, we want our own Juventus made and born and bred.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go and get Pelo, right?
Yeah.
You get Pelo. Pelo loses the league to Antonio Conte, right?
Yeah.
They barely finished fourth. They barely finished fourth.
Yeah.
But still is trying to incorporate a possession-based football and all of that. Which is the reason why you said you don't want coaches like Allegri again. You want to move to Sarri and Pelo.
Mm-hmm.
Then you sack Pelo and guess the next person you went to appoint. Allegri. Like it's it's actually like I'm actually trying to take you through the entire timeline to see how personally I feel like it's a very, very stupid, I don't know, decision making from whoever
Yeah.
is at it. Because now you're back to Allegri. Allegri is not possession based. Allegri wants to win matches by whatsoever points he wants, like whatsoever way he wants to win it. Sorry. whatsoever wants to win it. With Allegri, you gave him Vlahovic, the best striker at Serie A at that point that you bought. You have Chiesa. Unfortunately, he has been injured for so long. We all know how impactful Chiesa can be. But now you are not playing well. You are not winning. Even the philosophy that you said you wanted to bring back, you don't have it. The reason why you brought back Allegri because he can win for you. You don't have it either. And now the entire club is in turmoil. You have played 2 games in the Champions League. You've lost 2. In the league, you are 7th, something like that. You are 7 points behind the first.
Mm-hmm.
You have the best striker in Serie A before you bought him. Now, the best striker in Serie A can hardly muster 4 goals in 7 matches. You've sold Dybala. You don't want Dybala anymore. You don't have Ronaldo anymore. Guess who you have in your midfield? You bought this guy from Sassuolo. What's the name of this guy? Locatelli. You have Weston McKenzie. You've removed Ramsey. You don't want Ramsey anymore. You have Rabiot. Like now, you went to buy from PSG. You went to buy Paradis. You went to buy a 35 or 34-year-old Di Maria. Like it's just looking so terrible for Juventus right now. Like it looks like everything I do is not actually working. This season, personally, I do not think I'm going to enter the top 4 if Allegri is still going to be their coach. So why do I actually have to like do this much of explanation? Because I really want like the viewers and the hosts and everybody to see how much I believe Juventus is actually building a failing project, right? Like the project that I'm building right now is to me is a failure. And they really have to change things fast because if AC Milan wins the league again this season, they are slowly instilling that winning culture and mentality that the Milan clubs used to have before Juventus came back. Because the point that the Milan clubs were the ones at the top. And then they are already losing that heritage of being the ones to always win the league. Now they're going to be Inter AC. Do you get? So I feel Juventus has to they have to make a change quickly because if they don't, well, it's too late.
Okay. I think some other time we will have to make a video where we talk about how Juventus can get back to the top. But we don't have much time now, so we're just going to talk about. So, who do you think is going to win this Serie this season?
For me, I feel the favorite for me right now is still AC Milan. AC Milan is my favorite.
Okay, Pelly, what about you? Pelly.
For now, Askira is really very hard to predict the winner.
Yeah.
To be honest. I want to go with Napoli, but
Napoli is just on me. Like I really want Napoli to win the league. Like to be honest, like I really, really want Napoli to win the league.
Yeah,
because they play so well. But you just Napoli, the game that are supposed to win to get there.
Exactly.
They will go and mess up.
I think I'll go for either Napoli or AC Milan.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this show. But before we go to the end, we're going to talk about. Just give me which manager out of the top 5 leagues has really impressed you this season. Just one name.
Which what?
Manager out of the top 5 leagues has really impressed you this season. And Pelly, you go first.
Which manager? Come on, I have to think now.
Okay.
Top 5 leagues. Has to scour through the league.
Okay, so why I think let me just see my own.
Okay, you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think mine would be like Urs Fischer. I think URS then Fischer FISCHER. That's the manager of Union Berlin in Bundesliga.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, like I've really been impressed. Starting from last season when Awoniyi was with them. I think they last season was their first season in Bundesliga top flight. I think they finished. I cannot remember. Could you let me check where they finished last season? I think they finished around 14th or 15th. And It's very early days right now, but they are actually like the first in Bundesliga, like at the moment.
Yeah, they are first there.
Berlin, like right now. Funny enough, we all know that at some point they're probably going to go back to where they're supposed to be.
Wow, they even
Well,
finished more than what you said. They finished fifth.
can you imagine? Like, I've actually been seeing how like the improvements and how well they've been playing. So Berlin manager Mosficha has actually been like my actually like best manager so far because
Well,
he has been wonders with that squad.
I think I need to watch the next game. Pelly, what about you?
That has impressed me the most is probably Arteta.
Yeah, I was going to say Arteta too, but I don't watch Bundesliga as much as much. So I was going to say, okay, why has Arteta impressed you?
From how they've been playing, like they are playing like I'm not like normally I don't like Arsenal.
Yeah.
So when I say this, I'm not saying it based on sentiment or I'm saying the honest truth. I don't enjoy any other person's football than Arsenal. This season I love watching that ball. That football is so beautiful. Like it's so sweet. I just love it, honestly. And it has really impressed me. I never thought Arsenal in the next coming years would play such good football. So yeah, I think that's really impressed me what he has done with the team. How he has built the team, groomed their mindset and everything. That really impressed me, honestly.
Okay.
I think if any of you guys have the chance to watch or see one of the Berlin games,
yeah, I'm going to try and watch it.
No, now that I have mentioned it now, I'm going to pay attention to
the
it.
guys actually
I think they're playing the Europa League.
Yes, can you imagine? Like Berlin is actually playing the Europa League, like finishing fifth last season, and then are first in the Bundesliga after 7 games, which is early, but still, they've been exceptional.
Okay, so we've come to the end of this episode, and it has been really fun, and new viewers have come out to watch it. At least we've gotten our most views since when we took a break in this video. So thank you very much for coming out, you guys. Please don't forget to, if this is your first time, don't forget to please subscribe and like, share, and I promise you we're going to give you more content. On Monday, we have a huge announcement to make on all our platforms, Instagram and Twitter. We're bringing up new content for you viewers. But before we go, Pelly, any sign of?
Just have a blessed week. Enjoy the international break, and we look forward to more City Man, big derby. Yeah.
Yeah, GB, any?
Yeah, really nice to be here. It's been fun, talking and then get to talk about stuff. And I feel like today's episode was a little bit different, not just the Premier League. We tried to all the top 5 leagues that we have, trying to understand and get to know more. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to the derby. I can't wait to smash these guys. But yeah, have a lovely weekend and enjoy the boring international football.
Yeah, but why, bro? Don't worry, we're going to give you more content. But thank you very much for coming, and this is goodbye. See you soon.
Ciao.
Wow, this was long, but it was so nice.